Hello everybody.
you messed that right up.
What's wrong with me today? Jesus, right.
Today,
Yeah, I've been like this all day. It's ridiculous. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Blue Podcast Network. Stop laughing. This is the Green Show, your home of EFL football on the Blue Podcast Network. Today you've got me, Henry, as your main host, and I've got my three friends here who know lots more about the EFL than I do.
Friends is a strong word.
No, Henry's my friend.
No, we're friends. We're friends.
We've got Kian, we've got Matt, and we've got Lenny. Here to talk about all things from League 1, League 2, and the Championship. Where do we want to get started today?
I think we start...
I have a statement I want to make.
Oh, no.
I know.
John Eustace is a silly man.
I wasn't actually going to start
So we're starting in
with
the Championship then. Let's
I'm
do
saying
it.
he's a silly man, though.
Yeah, we'll start with John Eustace then.
Blackburn and Derby.
It's one of the worst decisions a manager's ever made.
I'd say that Blackburn are in a much better position, even though they had a poor season last year.
Well, I know. Why would you leave to join a team that's probably going to get relegated anyway? It would be like a manager joining us. Like, we're going to go down anyway. Why would you join? Derby are going down. Why are you going to join?
Don't say that because, Rude already chose to come to you lot, but,
Yeah, but he joined when we were already going to go down. Same with Eustace for me.
Obviously, Eustace played for Derby.
Yeah.
I know, but
a long
still.
time as well.
There is that connection. Like, even if United were in League 2 and I was playing in the Prem, like, I'd still, like, if United came to me, and if they needed me, I probably would go. But still, it does look a certain way, doesn't it?
Don't you want to see out the job? If you're a manager, surely you care more about your career than managing an old club that you used to manage just because you used to play for them.
There's a difference between an old club and your club, though. So how much connection does he have to Derby?
I don't know. Is it his club?
Thing is, you got to look.
Let me have a look.
You've got to look. Blackburn's ownership and board is an issue.
Yeah.
It's not.
So it might have been a falling out.
What I've heard, it's like they didn't really have any long-term plans. So that's what kind of forced Eustace out the door. They didn't
make long-term plans. Though.
Yeah, exactly.
Make a plan.
And there's a more long-term plan for him at Derby over like a 3-year period, rather than staying at Blackburn under the Venkies, who are probably one of the worst owners in English football. But it brings up to the debate to me: who's the bigger club?
Well,
I mean, me and you.
But removing bias, only one of those clubs has won the Premier League.
Yeah.
Yes, but you could say Derby have had more success in Europe.
Potentially, but you look at recent years, right? You look at Derby had that spell under Frank Lampard where they were nearly in the Prem, but they didn't make it.
Blackburn are a bigger club for me.
And look at them recently; they've been in League 1. They had Wayne Rooney,
So
it didn't work out.
Not
recently though. It's been a while since they've been in League 1.
And Blackburn, you look at for me, I mean, it's a smaller factor, but look at the old players they've had. They've had so many legendary players, like Alan Shearer. Probably one of the most iconic Premier League strikers there's ever been.
Derby have had Wayne Rooney and Ashley Cole.
I know, but not at the heights of their career.
No, exactly.
Those aren't the clubs you remember them playing for. No. If you think Alan Shearer, you think Newcastle, but you also think Blackburn.
How many recent Derby players could you name? Because I could have named quite a few Blackburn players.
That's what I'm thinking as well.
Ben Barrett and Diaz and Bradley Dack being the main two, but they had a ridiculous team. And Sammy Schmodix, who was the Championship top goal scorer last season. David Raya was there on loan for a season.
They had someone else who's gone on to have a really good career. I can't remember who it was, but they've had a lot of good players who've gone on to bigger things.
Exactly.
Derby haven't really had any.
And Derby have just sold their best player to Brighton.
Cash in.
Went to Brighton.
Yes.
So
they're for me resigned to relegation again. They're going to be back in League 1. And we're debating whether them or Blackburn are a bigger club. Yeah. For me, it's clear.
So I've got some information on John Eustace. He started his career at Coventry, so not far from Derby. He's in the Midlands. He's a Midlands boy. And then obviously he ended his career he was there on loan for a bit, then went back to Watford and played for a long time. 136 games for Watford in 4 years. Wow. Which is mad. And then finished his career with 2 years at Derby. So he's a club he finished at, and he's from the region.
But he's
reasonably.
It's not really.
It makes sense.
If it's a club you support.
It might be the club you support. I presume that's where it is. And I guess if it is, you probably would take the opportunity. But why would you move from a club that could get promoted?
It's making your
to a
life
club that's
harder.
going to get relegated.
Yeah.
Like Blackburn, I know they probably won't. But they're in the promotion playoff places. They've got a chance of going up.
They're in the fight, and if they can make a good appointment with this next appointment, they've got every chance of going up.
That's what I mean.
Same chance as everyone else in the playoffs.
Why would you leave that for a relegation battle? I don't understand it.
Yeah, I think it depends if he has a connection to the owners. at Derby, if that's where he finished his career.
I think it comes down to club running rather than club.
He's
rather
quite
than
young as
players,
well,
I
isn't
think.
he? So he probably didn't finish
Coach
playing that
was,
long ago.
2015.
2015,
It's been 10
Oh
years.
yeah, so
But-
that's not long.
But like I said, Blackburn's ownership issues are probably the main factor that's thrown him out.
Yeah.
Not thrown him out the door, made him leave.
Maybe
Yeah.
though.
Because
Maybe.
Venky's been running Blackburn for years
But I'd
now.
say that Derby have had financial issues as well.
Well,
Yeah,
obviously,
but ever,
yeah,
since, ever
obviously.
since,
Yeah.
ever since, is it Clowes, whatever his name came in,
Clown.
saved them from obviously administration and stuff
Yeah.
like that. They've been run a lot better. So, and
But
obviously
they
got
still had
promoted
those
in the end.
issues.
Oh
So
yeah,
there is no connection to the previous owners then if they've got.
I just
Nah,
think it must be the club he
memoirs.
supports. I presume it is literally just that is the fact that he supports the club. He wanted to manage them as many fans would, as you said with United. You'd want to manage them even if they were rubbish, which they are.
They are. Yeah, I was going to
It-
say.
We shouldn't criticise Derby too much because it is a great appointment.
It's a great appointment for
fantastic
Derby. I mean,
appointment.
how they
Derby are
pulled it
much
off, I don't
better,
know,
yeah.
but
But I think that they will be fighting against relegation. I think John Eustace might keep him up. He did it last season, so it's definitely
talking
possible.
of
But how-
relegation, who's bottom of the table?
Bear with me, I'll tell you. But first of all, whilst I'm looking, what happens with Blackburn? Who do they get in to save their
Good
season?
point. Yeah, that's a
Cooper.
good point actually.
Cooper.
Is it Cooper?
Yeah, I
Well, no,
reckon
it's
it
not
could be.
going to be, but I
wouldn't be
think
surprised
I
if
think
he
that'd
took it.
be a good
that'd be a
one.
great appointment.
I also could see him going there because as I think Blackburn are one of the bigger clubs in the Championship.
But
I
if
could see
your-
him going there.
If your manager has just walked out to a club that's in a relegation zone, how likely is it a top manager's going to go to Blackburn?
Well, it depends whether he feels he can fulfill an ambition. Like if he looks at the squad, he looks at the club, and he thinks that's a squad I can work with. I can do something with that, and you can challenge the ownership, I guess is the right word, because you obviously can't go up to them and say, look, you need to start running this club better. But there's ways you can do it of saying like, I need players, I need this, and I can make you loads of money. They're not going to say no.
But they've done really decent business. Like they've got Emmanuel Dennis in on loan from Forest, who is a good Championship player.
He is.
He's a
You
good
can't deny he's a
championship
good Championship player.
maybe.
His time at Watford was really good.
Ribeiro as
Um,
well.
Adam Forshaw's come in and it's a bit of experience in that midfield. Dion Sanderson from Birmingham, and you've got Todd Cantwell for less than about £500,000,
He
That's
joined
great
summer,
move,
didn't
which
he?
is a great piece of business, and he will be able to do something with.
He's
with
been
that
really
now.
good this season.
And obviously Yuri Ribeiro left back championship experience.
Yep. Lewis Baker.
Baker's not there anymore. He's back at Stoke.
I actually
Oh,
do
that's
feel like you've said that. I do feel like Cooper is a very Blackburn kind of appointment. It feels it
It
feels
does feel
right.
right, doesn't it?
It
Yeah.
feels right.
I think the only thing that wouldn't make him go is the owners.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Potentially.
Anyway,
But yeah, who's bottom of the league? Does anyone want to answer that question?
I can answer if you're ready for me to
Well,
answer.
I think we all know who's bottom, don't we?
3, 2, 1.
Luton.
Luton.
And that is brilliant. I love it.
Can I-
It's great.
can I just say though, we all thought Plymouth Argyle were dead and buried.
Well,
now
I-
look at them.
I don't
Coming
think,
back.
I don't think we
No,
said dead and
no,
buried.
we thought they
Did we?
Yes,
I
we
thought
thought.
We all
kind of said,
agreed
like,
they were
all
dead.
They were
agreed
down.
they were
I thought
down.
we said they were down, but not last.
So, since we last spoke about them, which was the 22nd of January, they just got spanked 5-0 by Burnley, and we all said they
True.
were gone.
Yeah.
We agreed they were the bottom team.
Then who did they beat?
They've got a point off Sunderland. They've got 3 points off West Brom, who are a title for challengers. They've stuck 5 past Millwall.
Beat Liverpool.
And suspense, motherfucker, suspense.
sorry.
They beat
1-0
Liverpool.
1-0 winning to Liverpool in the FA Cup, knocking them out.
Poor Lloyd.
And you've got to think.
Inject it into my fucking.
Lloyd, have you got anything to say about any of the Plymouth players that we can use after watching that?
We got bigger fish to fry, man.
Oh, he doesn't care about the
But
EFL.
you got to say, right, they're doing this without Morgan Whittaker, who they lost in January to
Yeah.
Middlesbrough, Sissoko, who went on to join
What do you
Sheffield
think of
Wednesday.
that whole Whittaker situation? Because obviously he came out and said
I
that
don't know.
he came out and said that it was all BS what the manager said. Like it wasn't real that he forced the move. But I think it probably was.
I think he did.
But he's not done that well there so far at Borough.
I think there's probably
He's only-
lies on both sides, but at the end of the day, we've found a solution. He's at Middlesbrough, and Carrick will get lots out of him.
he hasn't yet. I
he
know it's
will.
only been a month,
But
but
again,
Give it time, Matt. He's only been there 5
I was
minutes.
gonna say, look at Finn Azaz. When he first joined, he wasn't really. Last season, he wasn't that great in that second half of the season. This season, he's on fire.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes a second to click, but once it does, it works.
I
Really
have
well.
heard, talking about Borough and their signings, I have heard that this quote was on TalkSport the other day. They said Kelechi Iheanacho is clearly not Emmanuel Latilath, basically saying that he was really, really poor in his first couple of games. Apparently he missed a lot of sitters, so They made good signings, but apparently they're not really paid off yet. Because they also said on TalkSport that Morgan Whittaker was anonymous in that game. So, and I think they lost to someone. I can't remember who it was.
They lost to Watford at the weekend.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, but apparently they were rubbish, like attacking wise.
It will click. And obviously, you've got to try and embed these new players. Excuse me, when two of your kind of key attackers are fresh signings, it does. Like I say, it takes a little while.
Yeah,
but
you'd expect.
I think it will.
You'd expect a striker of Ian Acho's caliber and a winger of Whittaker's caliber to fire straight away. Really, though, wouldn't you?
Whittaker, yes, because he's been in the championship for the side this season. Ian Acho, has he played much for you this season at all?
He didn't play. He come from Sevilla.
Yeah,
he went as a free agent there.
You even said the other week that Ian Acho wasn't good for you in the championship.
Look, Ian Acho is a great player, but he wasn't good last season. But I don't know how much that was just because he kind of was done with the club and didn't get game time because Maresca preferred Daka. Because the thing with Ian Acho is he's not a pressing player, which is what Maresca wants.
How many games did he play for you last season?
I wouldn't know the number, probably 15 or so, but most of them off the bench.
Yeah.
But he's not a very pressing player. He's kind of that number 9 who'll stay up there, which is what Maresca didn't want. He wanted one who'd come deep. But if Carrick can make him work in that system, then he will score goals because he's a goal scorer.
He's good enough to do that in the championship.
He's a goal scorer.
My concern is that this is a loan and that he will be gone at the end of the season.
It feels like unless they need to have someone lined up before the end of the season. I think that's our man to get in for Latte Lath.
And there is definitely some options around the championship which you can go and buy. Potentially, obviously, Plymouth striker Bundu looks quite decent.
Also, Ryan Hardy's a good one.
Yeah.
Bundu's not a striker, is he?
He's been playing
he's
up front recently.
Winger,
yeah, he's a winger.
So he's playing up front under this new management. He's scoring goals. So Muslic looks like a decent appointment. Like he seems like a very tactically sound, very good with his players. Okay, the Whittaker situation is a bit dodgy, but he seems to have handled it reasonably well. They've got quite a lot of money out of him for it. So
the relegation battle is definitely getting interesting. I'd say. I think the fact you've got the club, one of the clubs who went down in last place, you'd expect them to improve at some point. Will they though? That's the thing. Will they go down?
It's the home kit. Back to back relegation. Well, they used the same home kit, Luton.
Last season
as they have this campaign.
And what I would say is that
kit.
in 7.5 hours, a game between Luton and Plymouth kicks off. And that's a huge game. If Plymouth win that, they could stay on.
It's at Kenilworth.
It's at Kenilworth Road.
I could see this being where Luton start turning it around though.
It's one or the other.
This is the thing, because if Luton lose this, what do they do?
Fucked.
What do they do? Because they've sacked their manager already, like a couple of months ago. They can't just keep sacking managers and hoping that will work.
Although Bloomfield did take time at Wickham for it to
but they don't
work.
They don't have
6
time.
months.
They don't have time.
They don't have time, no.
But
what do you do?
They can't just sack him, but they also can't just keep losing.
And if they do sack him, who do they bring in?
Because if Plymouth win that, they're probably 5 points clear of Luton, maybe even 6 or 7.
So let me talk you through the scenarios, right? So if draw, we're not going to talk about draw because it's boring. What I will say though is if Luton win, they'll be on 30 points. They'll be level on points with Hull and on the brink of coming out of the relegation zone.
Yeah.
If they lose, they're on 27 points and Plymouth are on 31, and Derby are on 29.
Yeah, so they're basically
have to win
in hot water. Then.
I think if Luton lose tonight,
they're down.
They're down.
The team that loses, I reckon, goes down.
Yeah. I think I'd rather Plymouth stay up. Plymouth is a good club. I like Plymouth.
Apart from being so far away from everyone.
No, I like that. It's a nice away day.
I went there to watch one of the England games at the Euros, and it was a long journey. It was a long trip.
But it's a nice journey. It's a nice journey.
It's a long old journey.
There is one game I do want to talk about, probably the game of the week in the Championship. Monday night fixture.
Oh, yeah.
Leeds against Sunderland.
Yeah.
Pascal Struijk coming off the bench and scoring twice, one of them in the 95th minute, I believe.
95th,
you just know some sick, crazy person put a bet on him to score twice when he came on and won like millions of pounds.
I saw someone tweet, because obviously they were 1-0 down. A Leeds fan tweeted, 1-0 down and you bring on Pascal Struijk.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I
bet he scores a brace.
But I bet you someone crazy put that on. I bet you.
I don't know if this is a bit harsh, but I just look at Pascal Struijk and I go, Championship baller. Like he is nowhere near good enough for the Prem, but he just balls out in the championship. But it's one of those things that look at his statistics. Look at those 2 seasons where he's averaging a good rating and scoring lots of goals.
And then the others are Prem.
They're all the others are Prem, exactly. And it's just one of those things.
He should. I think if Leeds go up, he should try and get a move at a decent sized championship club.
Agreed.
I know he wouldn't want to, but it'd be better for his career because Leeds aren't going to play him in the Premier League.
Go to Sunderland because they're definitely going to lose one of O'Neill or Ballard in the summer.
But what if they come up? That's the thing. What if they win the playoffs?
I know that I'm feeling a bit embarrassed because obviously I said that Sunderland would win the league and now they've lost.
And you said Leeds were going to not get promoted.
I said
Both
Leeds,
of you said that, and can I just say you've been proved that that's ridiculous. Leeds find ways to win games.
Yeah.
They're definitely getting automatics.
Although what I would
100%.
say is, for the second year running, they've won the league in February. Did you see their celebrations after the Sunderland game?
Yeah.
They've won the league again in February, like they did when they beat us.
I don't think.
And then didn't.
Yeah, but you're celebrating a massive win.
All I'm saying is it is identical to the celebrations they had when they beat us last season. It's brilliant. It's funny.
I just look at them and I go, what players here are going to keep them up in the Prem? Like,
not many.
Joel Perreault, maybe.
Well, he's not even been as good as he was last season. This season, though.
Are you sure?
He scored a lot of goals, but he's cooled off recently, I think. I might be wrong. Look at his goal scoring record on the last 5 or 6.
He scored against Watford last week.
I don't think he's got as many in the last 5 or 6 as he did at the start of the season. I might be wrong. Am I wrong?
2 against Cardiff, 1 against Coventry, goal and assist against Watford.
All right, fair enough.
He might be good enough to play in the Prem. But I look at the rest of those players and I go, Ramazzani might be good enough one day. Jonathan Joseph, obviously, he's young, but could be one day.
But think of players.
Wilfred Gnonto. The fact that Wilfred Gnonto isn't playing is a disgrace.
On the Pirro thing, think about lots of good, like, high-level championship players that were never good in the Premier League. Is all I'm saying. Like, people like Anthony Knockaert, when he was with Brighton, they got promoted. They sold him on because they didn't want to use him. Same with I think he came up with us as well, and we sold him because he wasn't good enough.
Because that's when you.
But he was ridiculous.
Wasn't
in the
that
championship.
He played in the game where Watford
missed the penalty.
He missed the pen.
And then Watford went up the other end
by
and
the way,
scored.
the best moment that's ever happened in our history. That.
I did.
Is it?
Because if we went up that season, we never would have won the Prem. We would have gone straight back down.
True.
That's what I mean. That's the best thing that happened to us.
Also great for I'll have to say one of the greatest clips in football history is that Deeney clip.
Do you know the funniest thing? Do you know the funniest thing?
Nah.
That was the playoff semi-final. Watford lost in the final.
Yeah, that's why
so that's their famous moment. They call it
nothing.
They
Who
call
won
it
that final?
they call it
Palace,
Deeney Day.
1-0.
Penalty. They call it Deeney Day, and they call it one of the best days in their history. They didn't even win the fucking playoffs.
But I want to go back to the Leeds Sunderland game quick because I did watch it because I did a TikTok live stream. So check us out on TikTok.
Yes, watch the boys do some live streams.
Sunderland had the best chances in the first half. Leeds were struggling to create anything clear cut. Obviously, Wilson Isidore took his goal really well. Second half, Leeds just dominated. And it's when De Vries made these subs, took off Chris Rigg for Abdul Samad.
Who?
That Lons midfielder.
I know who you mean, but I can't think of his name.
Not heard of him before.
He's like
yeah, no, but you're definitely not saying that right.
Abdul Samad.
Salis Abdul Samad.
Yeah, Lons, isn't he?
Yeah, Lons.
Yeah. He came in with big expectation.
Oh, Ivan Pervader's there now.
Yeah,
I wonder where he'd come from.
But no, he came in with big expectation from his time at Lons. But he came on, absolutely stunk it for Sunderland and probably lost in the game, if anything.
How was Enzo Lefebvre? Because I hear mixed things about him.
He was probably their best attacker.
I hear people say, some people say he's ridiculous. Some people say that he's really bad. Same with Joe Bellingham. People say the surname carries him, and other people say he's really good.
Here's what I'm saying about Enzo Lefebvre. Why are you playing him on the wing?
Yeah,
he is a tricky
8
midfielder with great passing range. He should be playing in that midfield 3. And I know you're trying to squeeze in all these fantastic players, but don't mess up your system.
He looked so isolated Monday night. He looked really
Job
isolated.
has played on the wing as well at points because they're trying to put Enzo Lefebvre in the middle. The problem is they've got these 2 amazing playmakers. Well, what people call amazing playmakers. The other one I was going to ask you 2 about is all of you actually, Joe Bellingham. What do you think of him? Because some people suggest the surname carries him, and other people say he's actually really good.
It's hard to avoid the things of like his surname, but just means he's trained with one of the best players in the world.
What do you think?
Lots.
Sorry, Joe Bellingham. Do you think surname carries him, or do you think he's actually good? Because I'm undecided.
Possibly to an extent, but I do think he's a good player. It's not solely dependent on the surname, is it?
You don't get Premier League interest from multiple clubs.
Just because of a surname.
Yeah.
Very
I
flexible
think his surname got him probably nearer the
Recognition.
starting 11 than it could have done, and then he's proved himself when he's been
He's a
given
lot
chance.
further down the road than some of these other bits. Like Chris Riggs, this is his first season. You look at Joe Bellingham, he's had
No,
2 or
second
3
season.
seasons. Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Riggs was playing last year.
Yeah, he was.
Cool. So, but even so, right, he's still like young and stuff like that. Bellingham's had some time, and it shows. He does get a lot more, especially chance creation and being a bit more mature. I still think Riggs going to go in the summer, and I think Bellingham stays.
You reckon?
Well,
I think
so it all
I've
depe-
seen a lot more links
It's-
with Riggs than I have with
all depends on promotion.
Yeah.
Bellingham.
Yeah.
If Sunderland go up, they could both stay. If they don't go up, they could both leave.
Mm.
You don't know at this point.
But no, Dan Ballard from
Ballard.
Arsenal.
Yeah.
Quality game from him.
Yeah.
An assist from centre back. Obviously, very unlucky to concede 2 goals because it kind of overshadows his performance.
It kind of
But he's
sums
a
up
quality centre half.
where these Leeds and Sunderland teams are. I see this Leeds team getting worse through sales and other stuff like that. And I see this Sunderland team just getting better because all these players are young. There's not that many links. And every year they're just going to get slightly better until they are.
Yeah.
They go. I reckon they go up and they stay up. I reckon Leeds go up, they come down.
Yeah, people are saying Leeds are going to stay up if they go up. I really don't see it. I really don't see it at all because I don't think they've got enough quality players, and I don't think they'll have money to spend
I
either.
mean, your squad then was better last season.
Our squad last season is better than their squad is this season.
Yeah.
Their squad last season
And
was
you'll
better. Their squad last season is better than their squad is this season.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and we're barely winning any games, and we've got a better squad than they have.
Do you think the Championship or the top teams in the Championship last year are stronger than this year then?
Oh, 100%. Southampton are probably better than. They're probably
They're
similar
not,
to
though.
Burnley
They're
and
not, no.
They're
Sheffield
not. They're not
United.
good enough in any shape or
Well,
fashion.
maybe not Southampton, but you got Ipswich. I would
Yes,
say
okay, yeah, Ipswich. Yeah.
Ipswich probably are as good as Sunderland, I'd say, are this season.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but they're not as good as Sheffield United and Burnley, I don't think. We are better than any of those teams were last season, I would say. Not this season, but last season, our squad was better than any
I
of
think
those
we're
three.
better than Sunderland are this season. I think that we were a lot further down the line than Sunderland are this season.
I do think if Leeds had
Um,
James Trafford last season, they would have gone up. I'm not joking with that. I think
James
Trafford's been
James Trafford
ridiculous
is
this season.
ridiculous. People have been
We
telling
need-
me
we
that
need
he's
to talk about
overrated,
that.
but no, there is quality.
That
there.
is 10 games now.
They're doing 0-0 again.
10 games without conceding a goal. He can't do anything about the attack, but he's been man of the match in a lot of those games.
And I'm pretty sure he's either top of the save charts or he's like near
Yeah,
the top.
near the top.
10
yeah.
games with clean sheets. People don't realise how ridiculous that is.
And
in
he's
a
not
row.
doing nothing. He is doing stuff.
That's
It's
what I
not
mean.
just to defend.
Good.
They've gone 1,000 minutes without conceding a goal.
He's good with the ball at his feet as well. This is why I said Tottenham should have gone out and signed him in
But-
January.
But this is what I mean. I think if Leeds
But
had him last
I
season,
think-
they'd have gone up in place of
I
Ipswich.
think the obviously you have Vicari, who is your number one, and then you've got this Czech guy that's come in. He's quality as well, and like if he's cheaper than he's going to be cheaper than James Trafford is. There's no point.
Kinski, yeah.
When
Yeah,
when
it's-
he's going to be your backup in half a season anyway, there's no point wasting Trafford's
Yeah, I
career.
guess,
Yeah.
but he's another one who's come through Manchester City's academy and he's absolutely tearing it apart.
Burnley,
In a way, I
Burnley
hope-
need to go up, or he needs to go up.
I hope Burnley go up purely so we can see him prove himself in the Prem, because obviously last season he wasn't good. And I think people could admit that. People know he wasn't as good last season as he has been this season, but I think he will prove himself next season if they
Here's
go
what
up.
I'm saying. He is England's Euro 2028 goalkeeper. He could be England's 2026 World Cup goalkeeper.
Not a chance.
Yeah.
I'm
Not
sorry,
World
but not a
Cup.
chance.
Not
Dean
World Cup.
Henderson-
Jordan Pickford is
Pickford.
Pickford is better.
I'd have him
Hendo's
over.
better than
I'd
him.
have him over. Pickford is the one. I'd have him
Pickford's
over
getting on.
Henderson.
No, you're wrong.
100%.
You're wrong, mate.
Yeah,
You're wrong.
No, 100% I would.
You are just wrong.
No, and you know
That's-
I've got links
no.
to Henderson. Like I like Henderson a lot.
Have you watched
He
Crystal
has
Palace
too
this
many
season?
weak moments. Like
There's-
Henderson's been one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League.
Lloyd put him like 4th in the goalkeepers list, and no one said
I'm
that
not
was
saying
wrong.
he's a bad goalkeeper. What I'm saying is I've seen him make plenty of mistakes.
Yeah, but so is Trafford.
is
So
if
is
James
solid.
Trafford comes up, I doubt he makes a top 10 goalkeepers list
No.
at this point
Really?
in time.
No.
No, I
He
can't
needs
do
to prove himself first, because there's a difference between being the best in the Championship and being decent in the Prem.
Yeah.
Because Mads Hermansen was by far the best last season, and he's nowhere near the best in the Prem this season. Because
Well, I can agree with that.
When you're shipping goals, when you're shipping goals every week, it doesn't help, obviously. But James
I-
Trafford
I-
won't keep clean
No,
sheets
but-
every
No,
game.
No,
in the
but
Premier
what I'm
League.
saying is, if you look at that Palace team, if you were to put Henderson in that Palace team or to put Trafford in that Palace team, Trafford does a better job. He makes more saves. He keeps more clean sheets. 100%.
Whoever's clipping this podcast, please clip that because that is going to go down as one of the worst takes we've had on this podcast.
Oh, it's going to come down as a really good take when it is correct because I'm telling you, he's
Dean
got
Henderson
more
is a
about
much
him.
better keeper than
He's more
James Trafford.
opposing. He's more something about him just.
James Trafford can
good.
do everything right, yes, but Dean Henderson can as well.
Yeah,
And
I'm
he can
not
do it
saying
better.
Henderson's bad. I'm just saying Trafford's better.
He's not yet. He will
Not
be.
yet.
I agree that he will be in the future. But in a
not
couple of
yet.
Well, that's what I'm
years.
saying. 2028, 2028, he will be our starter. 2026, he could be.
2028,
2026 still
maybe
be
we
pitched,
can get
won't it?
behind that. 2026,
He won't be
absolutely not.
mate,
That's next
year.
season.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
He won't be the
He'll
starter.
be the best goalkeeper in the
He'll
championship
go.
this season.
He will
He'll
go,
get a
but
signing.
he won't
He'll
get
be
a
a
game.
signing in the
Pickford
summer.
will be the starting keeper.
Unless he
Pickford,
gets injured.
and then Henderson,
And
and then
Ramsdale as well.
Trafford.
Ramsdale will be in a shout.
Yeah,
Well,
I
it
don't-
You
depends
can't
what
put that on
happens to
one
him.
season. You
It-
can't
no,
put it on one
wait,
season
no,
at Southampton.
It depends what happens to him after this season, because obviously if he has a great
If he
season
stays in
next
the
year-
championship,
He won't stay
Look
at
what happened to
Southampton.
Butland. Look what happened. He went down and he's never heard from him again. I think it was right. Trafford went down. We know that he is solid in the championship, and he comes up. If Henderson went down right now, I don't know if he'd perform as well.
Yes, he would.
I don't know.
He would.
I don't know because it happens. Right? You have a fantastic season in the Premier, you go down and you just disappear.
He's a good keeper, and he's better than Trafford. You can't say he's worse than Trafford at the moment. There's a reason one of them's in the Premier, one's in the Championship at the moment.
There's a reason one of them got dropped from big club.
You got to
There
remember.
Ramsdale Trafford issues as well,
there is a
wasn't
reason.
there?
There's a reason Burnley got that Burnley dropped him last season was because he wasn't good enough in the Premier last
Getting
season.
dropped for Alvaro Muric.
Exactly from Muric. It's not
For
like we're talking about a
Muric.
good
But he didn't
keeper.
get dropped from Muric, did he?
He did.
Fair
He
play,
did.
that's the
He
whole
did.
point.
Yes,
He
he
did.
did.
He
Not for
did.
long.
He did.
He
Right at
did.
the end of the season, he did.
He did.
Like last few months of the season, he got
There's
dropped.
one or
in.
two games where they fluctuated in between.
But Trafford got dropped for a
Trafford's
reason. Henderson is nowhere near being dropped by Crystal Palace,
Yeah.
and Crystal Palace are performing well.
Well, no, because he didn't play because of the first season and a half because he played Sam Johnston.
Because he was injured.
No, not because he was injured.
Well,
Even when he
Henderson
was,
was injured.
even when he
bro.
was fit, they still played Johnson.
Right.
Up until they sold
We
him.
should
I-
probably
yeah.
move on because
I say
we've got
we
other
move-
leagues to talk
We've
about.
spoken
as
about this
well.
for way too long.
League
so.
One, Wrexham lost last night to Leyton Orient.
I've been saying about Leighton Orient for
I think
ages.
10-man Leyton Orient.
I think rather than talking about Wrexham here, we've got to talk about Leyton Orient
Yeah.
first. Leyton Orient are on a ridiculous run, and because I know Orient fans are saying this game, they've got a couple of tough games coming up, and this was like the test. Like, can they come through it? Can they keep themselves pushing? And they've won.
I believe they've got new owners possibly coming through
yeah,
as well.
coming
out of
through,
him.
maybe.
Yeah, it's been talked
I've
about.
seen
I've
talks.
brought this up for the last couple. In December, I brought this up multiple times because they are just ridiculous. Like if you look from like December onwards, just league because I don't think we should talk about we should talk about cup.
No.
Just league. They drew to Burton.
Richard Bottom.
They drew to Peterborough
Who are down there.
and they lost to Stockport, and the rest are wins.
But do
Yeah,
you
that is good.
guys know, by the way, who they've got in 2 weeks' time? Oh, sorry, in a week and a half.
Birmingham.
They have Birmingham
Birmingham.
away.
Yeah.
That's
That
the
is
test.
the test.
But that's the form team and the best team going
But
up against each
also,
other.
That's
also Jay Stansfield injured.
Is he?
Came off injured last night.
Ooh.
Came off on a stretcher.
They've got a shot. Genuinely, they've
night.
got a shot.
But Bolton away is also not an easy game.
No.
They've got Birmingham away. That's a very hard game, obviously, the hardest
Yeah.
one this season. And then they have Charlton at home, who are not doing badly themselves. I know they just lost 1-0 to Birmingham, but most teams are losing to Birmingham, so it's not a big shock.
It'll
But
be interesting to see how they do without Darren Pratley. Obviously, he got a red card last night. I believe it was Pratley.
Yeah.
Got sent off last
Yeah.
night, so it'll be interesting to see how he does. Obviously, Kelman on loan from QPR scored. I think he scored last night.
More importantly, look at that front line. You've got Jamie Donnelly on loan from Tottenham, playing in the 10. You've got Sonny Perkins. I don't know if it's a free transfer from Leeds. Is doing fantastically this season. And did you see? Obviously, let's talk about the game, which is impressive here. The 2-1 loss to Man City, where they led from the
They were
16th
very
minute to the 56th
I
minute.
watched that game.
City had to bring on all their first team players. They ended up at the end of the game with their full first team Prem squad, and they only won 2-1 in the 79th minute. Did you see the goal?
Their
Yeah.
equaliser was a
From a halfway
deflection.
line.
Oh,
was that not Donnelly as well?
That
The one
was,
got
I'm
sent off?
pretty
Yeah, but
sure
then
it
it
was
got
Donnelly.
get- it
Donnelly
got
didn't
given
get
us-
sent off.
Own goal was
He
Yeah,
got
it
took
got
off.
Which is
Own
harsh.
goal.
It's harsh. I know it was kind of, but come on.
Took off for Dan Adji, if you remember Daniel Adji, the name. You remember the name?
But
They've also got Dominic Ball, who's at Ipswich.
But
Yeah,
either
from
way,
QPR.
I think Leyton Orient will be in the playoffs by the end of the
and
season.
a 39-year-old Darren Pratley.
which
I forgot he was
which is
there.
impressive considering the teams up there. Like the fact that they are pushing so high up. I think Wrexham. We all kind of said this 2 weeks ago, which is that Wrexham will not be automatically promoted.
I think it's over now.
One of us said it was. I can't remember who said that Wrexham. I think it might have been you said Wrexham will still go up automatically.
I thought they would catch up,
but I don't think they go up.
I think they go up in the playoffs.
It's now a 5-point gap, so it's not over, but it's
not ridiculous to say they go off in the playoffs. But if Leyton Orient can continue this form, Leyton Orient will be the playoff team because they'll be the informed
they're in
team.
now. They're in the playoffs now by a clear 3 points. They've got a better.
But they have Bolton.
They've got
and
a better goal difference than Wrexham. They've scored more goals and they've only conceded one more than Wrexham.
They do have Bolton and Charlton though in the next 2 weeks, which are the teams which are 3 points below. I know, but you've got to look at who they've got to play. They've got a tough run.
If Orient do get playoffs and keep this form going, like we said in the last Green Show, it's all about momentum in the playoffs.
If they keep this form going till the end of the season, I mean, to be honest, if they keep this form going to the end of the season, they've got a very small chance of even getting to the autos.
Well, this is what I'm saying. There's only 10 points there. They've scored more goals than Huddersfield and Wrexham, and they've conceded less goals than Stockport and Wickham. The only team to blow them out of the water is Birmingham, because it's just Birmingham. Wickham is catchable.
If they go and beat Birmingham, they have a chance. I don't think they will.
I hope they do. I hope they batter Birmingham.
I really, really don't think that they will go and get automatics. I really don't think they will. But you've got to say, if they keep this form going, who's going to beat them?
And what I would say, obviously, they've got Birmingham in a couple of weeks. Then, penultimate game of the season is Wickham at home. And then their last day of the season is Huddersfield away.
So they've got a very hard run. That's the thing.
They've got a hard run, but they're going to have played their 2 playoff oppositions on the last 2 games of the season.
But the only problem is if they lose those 2 games or the one before as well, those 3 games, they're just about in the playoffs. They'll lose in the semi-finals because they'll be out of form.
Well, they need to hold it.
They need to win those games so that they're in the informed team.
Well, their third last game is Cambridge United,
which they should smash.
Which we do need to get onto because Gary Monk's been sacked.
Gary Monk.
Yeah, he's had a very successful career. I'm trying to think how I should say this. It just wasn't clicking, was it?
No.
Kept them up last season, but
it was an ambitious managerial appointment, but it really hasn't worked. They are now 8 points off of safety.
They were just missing.
Their team.
Can I say Burton though? They were rooted to the bottom of the table. They're 2 points off of safety now. They could stay up.
Every time we say someone's gone.
We did say that the 4 teams in that battle will probably be the ones going down, and they probably still will when you consider Peterborough the team in 20th.
Yeah,
but they have a chance. They have a chance. Burton could stay up.
No, they shouldn't be that far down at all.
At what point did Darren Ferguson
get sacked and then rejoins them?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, well, yeah.
The amount of times he's been at Peterborough now is ridiculous.
4 times.
4 times.
Yeah, he'll end up there.
Should we touch on League 2 quickly, or is there anything else to say on League 1?
Not much to say.
With League 2, there's not really much to say. Wimbledon are on a good run. Other than that, it's pretty much as you were.
Yeah.
I would say with this league,
not much has changed.
Not much has changed. It's still Wimbledon, Doncaster, and Warsaw leading the way, and it's still Morecambe and Carlisle who are probably going down.
I don't think any positions have changed. Genuinely,
Tranmere have got closer though. Tranmere are now only 2 points off of. Morecambe are only 2 points off of Tranmere.
But
and Survival.
There's a game in hand there.
There is. But
I'm pretty sure Carlisle made a change though. Yeah, they've got Mark Hughes now.
They do.
And they made the loan signing of Joe Hugel on loan from Man United.
That's
a striker.
That's very good.
Who's a good appointment. Scored some goals for Wigan last season. He's definitely got something about him, although he only scored 1 in 7 so far, so that's fun. So they're not out of it either.
But yeah, I think
is
that everything?
Other than that, it's pretty much good. Pretty much, yeah. I think we are sorted. Yeah, thank you all very much for watching. If you've got some news about your EFL club, please leave it in the comments below and we can discuss it next week. Thank you guys for joining me. But it's never edition. Oh, don't touch the hat. I've told you this many times. You made me lose my train of thought now. Sorry. Make sure you follow us on all of our platforms, including X and TikTok. And drop us a like if you like it, and subscribe if you're not already, obviously. Otherwise, why would you want to miss all this fantastic content?
Spotify.
I was getting to it. Okay. And we are now on Spotify and Apple Music, Apple Podcasts. Shut up and let me finish. We're now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and make sure you follow us on there as well if you want to listen to it on the go. And if we don't see you before, we'll see you in 2 more weeks for another Green Show. Cheers, guys.